most dangerous weapons in this war are not firing yet, but are already in position. What if the real battlefield is no longer the front lines of Ukraine, but the shadows of intelligence, secrecy, and deterrence? As Russia quietly moves its most advanced missile systems closer to Europe, and Ukraine claims it knows exactly where they are, a new and far more dangerous phase of the war is unfolding, one that could redraw the security map of the entire continent. This is not just a war of tanks and drones anymore. This is a war of information, and the consequences could be felt far beyond Ukraine. The war between Ukraine and Russia is no longer defined only by tanks, trenches, and troop movements. What began as a conventional military conflict has evolved into something far more complex and dangerous. Today, this war is also being fought in the shadows through intelligence leaks, psychological pressure, strategic messaging, and weapons that may never be seen until the moment they strike. Since the early days of the invasion, Russia and Ukraine have clashed not only on the battlefield but also in the information domain. Each side seeks to demonstrate strength, expose the weaknesses of the other, and shape how the world perceives the conflict. In modern warfare, perception can be as powerful as firepower. Ukraine, backed by Western allies, has relied heavily on intelligence cooperation, satellite imagery, and real-time battlefield data. Russia, on the other hand, has emphasized secrecy, deterrence, and strategic ambiguity, especially when it comes to its most advanced weapons. As the war drags on, fatigue is growing across Europe, economic pressure is mounting, and diplomatic efforts struggle to keep pace with rapidly changing military realities. Against this backdrop, a new confrontation has emerged, one that centers not on soldiers, but on secrets. This confrontation came into focus when Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, made a bold and unexpected claim during an international visit. His statement suggested that Ukrainian intelligence possesses detailed knowledge about Russia's most sensitive missile deployments. That claim alone sent ripples through diplomatic and intelligence circles across Europe. What followed was not a military strike, but a war of words, one that revealed just how high the stakes have become. During a visit to Poland, President Zelensky publicly stated that Ukrainian intelligence services are aware of where Russia has positioned its newest hypersonic missile systems. According to him, this includes missile units deployed not only inside Russia, but also on the territory of Belarus. Zelensky emphasized that this intelligence was not being kept secret. Instead, Ukraine was actively sharing this information with international partners to evaluate potential threats and prepare defensive responses. The message was clear. Ukraine wanted the world to know that Russia's most guarded military secrets might no longer be completely hidden. Belarusian intelligence officials rejected Zelensky's claims outright. The head of Belarus's counterintelligence services publicly mocked the idea that foreign intelligence could accurately track the locations of such strategic weapons. According to him, these missile systems are among the most closely guarded secrets of the Belarusian state. He reassured Belarusian citizens that their security services were fully in control, actively countering espionage and foreign intelligence operations. The message from Minsk was not fear, but confidence, perhaps even defiance. This exchange highlighted a deeper issue. If Ukraine truly knows where these weapons are deployed, it would represent a major intelligence breakthrough. If not, the claim itself could still serve a strategic purpose by forcing Russia and Belarus to question their own security measures. Either way, the confrontation revealed that intelligence warfare is now running parallel to the fighting on the ground. At the center of this intelligence clash is Russia's newest hypersonic missile system, often described by Russian officials as a game-changing weapon. These missiles are designed to travel at extreme speeds, maneuver unpredictably, and evade existing air defense systems. Russia first revealed the system publicly after launching a strike on a Ukrainian industrial facility. The message was unmistakable. Moscow wanted the world to see what it was capable of. Under joint defense agreements between Russia and Belarus, some of these missile units are now being stationed on Belarusian territory. This move places them significantly closer to NATO's eastern flank, increasing pressure on neighboring countries such as Poland and the Baltic states. Western intelligence agencies have taken a keen interest in these deployments. Hypersonic weapons compress decision-making timelines, reduce warning times, and raise the risk of miscalculation. Even without being launched, their presence alone acts as a form of strategic intimidation. Belarusian officials have gone further, warning about what they describe as transit terrorism, covert operations, sabotage, and intelligence activities that they claim could spill over from Ukraine into Belarus if the war expands. According to Minsk, dozens of foreign agents have already been identified and arrested this year. Whether these claims are exaggerated or accurate, they reinforce the idea that the conflict is spreading into darker, less visible territory. This is no longer just a war of territory. It is a war of nerves. As missiles move closer to NATO borders, Europe finds itself caught between urgency and uncertainty. Russia describes these deployments as routine defensive measures. Many European leaders, however, see them as a calculated warning. At the same time, Ukraine is facing a growing financial crisis. Maintaining its defense, supporting its economy, and sustaining weapons production, especially drones, requires massive and continuous funding. President Zelensky has traveled repeatedly to European capitals, urging leaders to approve new financial mechanisms, including loans backed by frozen Russian assets. Supporters argue that failing to act would weaken Ukraine and embolden Moscow. Critics warn that using frozen assets could trigger serious legal and economic consequences. The European Union remains divided. Some nations push for immediate action, while others fear retaliation and long-term instability. Meanwhile, Russia continues to signal that it will not compromise on what it calls its security guarantees or territorial demands. The result is a dangerous moment of overlap. Diplomacy moves slowly, while military decisions move fast. And in this gap, the risk of escalation grows. The war in Ukraine is entering a phase where secrecy, intelligence, and perception may matter as much as soldiers and weapons. Hypersonic missiles hidden from public view, intelligence claims exchanged through the media, and financial battles fought in conference rooms, all are shaping the future of this conflict. What happens next will not depend on a single battle or announcement. It will depend on decisions made quietly, behind closed doors, by leaders who understand that one miscalculation could have consequences far beyond Ukraine. The question now is not only how this war will be fought, but how it will end. Will diplomacy catch up with military reality? Will financial pressure shift the balance? Or will this shadow war of intelligence and deterrence push Europe into even more dangerous territory? If you want to stay informed about global conflicts, military strategy, and the hidden forces shaping world events, Speech Balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel for in-depth analysis and updates. Because in a world where information is a weapon, understanding the truth has never been more important.